Welcome, everybody. I want to second Adam's hearty welcome. Thank you for coming. Some of you may have come from some distance to get here, perhaps by train, in which case, welcome to New York City and what the press is calling today the first day of the first week of Penn Station Summer of Hell. Some of you might have planned to come via LaGuardia, in which case you're not here. We'll see you tomorrow, or maybe you'll never show up. But we have faith and hope for our ailing infrastructure because cities, as we know, are always changing and always evolving. I mean, look where we are tonight. We're adjacent to Times Square, which, guess what, didn't always look like this. In a few moments, we're going to see just how much it didn't look like this when we get a preview of a clip from The Deuce, a new series from David Simon and George Pelecanos, which is about this part of town way back in the day. Now, some of you may be thinking, David Simon, George Pelecanos, what are these guys doing here? This is wonky. You know, neither of them has run for office or run a sewage treatment plant. But the arts are critical to our perception of urban life and cities. And perception is such a critical business right now because we have this intense divide that the presidential election has really put in high relief between cities and small towns. That tension's been alive all through American life, but it's really acute right now. Many cities are thriving, many small towns and suburbs are not. So we'd like you to leave this conference really thinking in a deep way about the way some of that division can be narrowed, about the way we can think of some of these problems more ecumenically, not really as matters just of geography. The opioid crisis, I think, is a prime example of this, and we're going to be talking about that because it is really as much a plague in places like the South Bronx as it is in places like West Virginia. Problem solving. Well, we're going to look at problem solving in a time of this intense ideological partisanship. How can cities pursue and achieve agendas that are largely progressive in the absence of support from state and federal governments in the face of some hostility? So part of the programming tonight is going to be the screening of a film about Jane Jacobs, whose work is ever current and ever relevant to these discussions we're going to be having, especially now when so much of urban life is animated by activism. Tomorrow, when we talk about retail culture and how it can be re-energized, reimagined in the online world to bring vitality back to more urban places and cities, we're going to be thinking about her legacy, about what she would make of some of the innovations today. With that, let's get the fun started and welcome our first trio of panelists, Dean Baquet, George Pelecanos, and David Simon.